Stress, what kind of role does that play?
Well, stress is a terrible thing. We know it enhances inflammation. We get the cortisol surges, which make people, gain weight, and then that eventually leads to adrenal burnout and adrenal fatigue, which makes people exhausted, and then they can't lose weight because they're so tired. So
it's this cycle.
Yes.
How do you begin breaking it? Where do you start?
Well, again, with eating healthy foods and taking nutritional supplements, I personally do feel that it is essentially impossible in today's world to get all the nutrients that you need just from your food. I mean, if you had to do it that way, it would basically be a full-time job. So I think most people have to take supplements. I'm a big fan of resveratrol, of course, omega-3.
You can't drink nearly enough wine to get enough resveratrol.
That's why red wine is better than white wine for you. But, the omega-3 fish oil, like 2,000 milligrams a day of that, but it has to be purified
You want to know
oil,
where that fish oil is
because
from?
there's PCBs,
I read about that recently.
And mercury and all kinds of toxins in the fish, which is why you have to be careful about even the fish that you eat. If it's farm raised or if it's not, if it's not, fished out in deep water,
right?
It's going to be full of toxins. Mercury is such a big problem, so you have to be very careful. The small fish are safer than the larger fish.
Okay, just by rule of thumb, huh? We were talking during the break about yeast. And you're concerned about people's yeast levels being too high in their intestinal tracts.
Yeah,
what does that do?
A lot of people have a yeast overgrowth situation in their intestines, and the yeast actually cause people to crave sugar. So sugar cravings are a big issue, and of course sugar is yeast's favorite food. So the American diet is so high in sugar already, and so basically people have to get off of sugar, and they can take certain herbs or medications to kill the yeast.
Easier said than done about the sugar.
It's hard.
So just briefly about the yeast, I mean, how do you achieve a balance? I mean, it does exist in your flora.
A small amount of yeast is normal, but most of us, because of antibiotics, for example, don't have adequate levels of the good bacteria in our intestines that keep the yeast down. So
should you eat yogurt?
Probiotics and yogurt can be helpful. There's a lot of fermented foods nowadays that you can eat which are rich with the good bacteria. But again, taking a probiotic pill can be very helpful, and anti-yeast supplements, or in some cases we need medicines like diflucan or ketoconazole. These are medicines that kill yeast.
Well, I mean, how do you know if you're out of balance?
Well, there are medical tests that you can take. Okay, so I order tests on people to find out if they have a yeast overgrowth situation. But people with brain fog and fatigue and itchy skin and, again, sugar cravings, these are symptoms of yeast overgrowth.